The Philippine real estate industry has never been this exciting. With so many opportunities and even more potential for growth, there's a highly competitive market for real estate brokers and salespersons. But what if there was a way for you to take your real estate profession to the next level? RE/MAX Capital is an independently owned and operated office under RE/MAX Philippines and is the fastest growing real estate franchise in the country under the global RE/MAX brand. Since 1973, RE/MAX has been on the forefront of the industry, making it the most recommended and respected name in real estate.
No one in the world sells more real estate than RE/MAX. We are the destination for the very best.
Our objective at RE/MAX Capital is to provide market expertise, a vast network, and the highest level of professionalism that you can expect from real estate practitioners. How much on average do you think an independent real estate practitioner can earn while only relying on a personal network and simultaneously working on documentation himself? Now, imagine if you could be part of a community of professionals that can help you do all of that.
At RE/MAX Capital, we not only help real estate professionals multiply their network, but we also focus on developing our agents through workshops and seminars. Because we believe in a mentorship culture. The more you learn, the more you earn. Some of our mentors are respected industry heavyweights with vast experience. We go a step further by providing back-end support so you can focus on closing that sale.
People always have the impression that being a real estate broker will make you earn a lot of money, and this includes my family and friends. But it actually takes a lot of hard work and dedication to be successful in this industry. By joining RE/MAX, I was able to grow my sale every year because of the experiences that we share and the learnings that I get from my colleagues and also from the mentors that we have in this company. So apart from that, actually, I gained a lot of friends.
But at RE/MAX Capital, it's not just all about business. We also know how to have fun, and we believe in establishing a sense of camaraderie and family. RE/MAX Capital puts you on the fast track to success to help you become the best real estate professional that you can be. It's definitely an exciting ride ahead for us, and we saved the seat just for you.
Take your profession to the next level.
We are RE/MAX Capital!
We have a big announcement, and we're excited about it. The real estate industry is going to change, and it's because of these guys. RE/MAX Capital has been unstoppable. They are a multi-awarded brokerage, winning the top spot in sales for several developers. And in 2018, they bested 8,000 offices from around the world to win the Broker Owner of the Year award at the International RE/MAX Convention in Las Vegas. They have a lot of really good people in their team. They do an amazing job of getting top quality licensed professionals and sales agents. I'm not surprised actually, because they are training their associates weekly in Monday Mindset meetings. My favorite thing about them is they have a great culture of camaraderie and excellence.
Yes, this is big news for us. I know Larry Gamboa. We're fans of Larry and his team at Think Rich Pinoy.
They are one of the pioneer RE/MAX offices in the country, and TRP is already a household name, especially in the South.
What I really admire is we share the same belief in training and education and its role in boosting performance. They've helped so many people consistently hit income targets beyond 7 figures.
And that is why
we have decided to join forces to expand entrepreneurial freedom in real estate.
With a partnership under the RE/MAX Capital brand,
we will have a stronger combined reach across Central Metro Manila and the South.
Yep, that's right. We can now offer the best education, training, and coaching to give brokers and agents the correct tools to excel. Our shared mission is to turn real estate into a lucrative career and teach brokers to have an entrepreneurial mindset.
From just 6 agents in 2014, with this alliance, we are now a team of 60.
And our doors are very much open to anyone who wants to take their career to the next level. We are proud to announce RE/MAX Capital Alabang is now open.
Buying a house is easy, right? One day has passed. 2 days have passed, and finally, don't let this happen to you. When it comes to one of the biggest decisions in your life, you need someone professional, reliable, and competent. Introducing RE/MAX Capital's newest member, Mr. G.
Hi, I'm Mr. G. I'm your go-to guy for your real estate needs. You can expect only good advice. I can help you find great deals. And I have the grit to negotiate for your best interests. I'm here for you so that your buying and selling journey will be efficient and smooth. What are you waiting for? Get in touch with me anytime. Just follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and our website, and let's make things happen. Hello, everyone. Good morning, and welcome to another special edition of the Remax Capital Monday Mindset Session. My name is Jose Siwani Gonzalez. I am a director here at Remax Capital and Remax Capital Alabang, and I will be your host for this event. Again, thanks you guys for joining us today. As always, we are always happy to have you join us. I can see the number of viewers are slowly increasing. And it's always a pleasure to have you guys with us today. You know, we're always happy to do these events and do our best to help, I guess you can say, mold the real estate industry here in the Philippines. We're coming at you live from the Remax Capital Studios in BGC Taguig. And I'd like to welcome everyone back for this event. I hope you're all safe. I hope you're all fully vaccinated. I hope you all had a good, long, relaxing weekend and you're back here ready to learn. We always say at Remax Capital, the more you learn, the more you earn. Again, guys, I hope everyone's staying safe and masking up despite the better numbers in our COVID situation. As you guys know, schools are slowly opening up, the malls are opening up, restrictions are getting easier and easier. But again, guys, please, 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 let's all do our best to stay safe. So we're back again for another Remax Capital Monday Mindset, which, as you all know, is a regular initiative here at Remax Capital and Remax Capital Alabang to invite the best speakers and best thought leaders to tell us more about the issues that help shape our real estate industry here in the Philippines. This is aligned with our mission here at Remax Capital to equip, mentor, and of course, teach our agents and help them evaluate the standards and elevate the standards so we can professionalize our industry here, our real estate industry, our real estate practice here in the Philippines. As always, guys, you have the comments button here in our Remax Capital Facebook page live stream. Please don't be shy to use the comments button for any questions that you may have, any comments, any concerns, any violent reactions you want to share. Again, guys, please feel free to use it. Any feedback, anything you want to add to the presentation greatly helps. So please do not be shy to use that comments button. Again, guys, since we're streaming this event live on Facebook, also please feel free to share this event on your own Facebook page, your business Facebook page, your friends and family's Facebook page, anybody's Facebook page you feel free to share it on. Please do so. Again, the more people we end up reaching, the farther out we get, and of course, the better for everyone involved who's able to watch this show, right? And we're really hoping that it helps people far and wide, no matter where you are, either in the Philippines or even abroad. So please feel free to share, and share. Again, like I said, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate the support. We really appreciate everyone taking the time out of, I'm sure they're busy Mondays. We're at the very start of the week, but despite that, you're here at 2:20 in the afternoon Philippine time, supporting this event. So thank you for all of us here at Remax Capital. All right, guys, without further ado, let me introduce our speaker for this event. I mean, the reason why we're all here today, tuning in, a little bit of a background. Our speaker today is the co-founder and managing director of Elementary Design Group. They believe in synergy and building relationships with their key partners and key clients, elevating design goals in their business and their passion. And just like you, they're constantly looking out for the client's best interest. They think that a house and a workspace become a home and make you more creative when it's personalized. A space that could show off your tastes and your personality, work with your lifestyle, and maybe make your guests a little bit jealous, wink, wink, when they get in and see your property, whether again it's your home or your office. They know that creating an interior does all of these things, and it's not easy. And they're here to help. Their dedicated and dynamic team brings 4 years of experience, comprised of talented 3D artists, carpenters, designers, engineers, architects, foremen, and masons. From discovering their style and your style to knocking down that wall that's been preventing that open concept living area you've all been lusting for. Ooh la la. Their design firm will make sure that your space isn't just aesthetically pleasing, but also a reflection of you and your company's value proposition. They offer the following services: on site consultations, project survey and analysis, space styling and space planning, as well as staging, interior design concepts, and construction, which include finishes, furnishings, custom design, purchasing as well, delivery and installation, as well as project coordination and management. So, to talk to us today about creating new business models in real estate, please all welcome me in giving a warm Remax Capital Monday Mindset welcome to the ever beautiful Miss Erika Dizon Go. Hello, Erika.
Hi, hello everyone. Thanks for having me here today. Super excited to see a lot of people who are interested in learning more and new business models within the real estate space. So maybe without further ado, let me go ahead and let me present to you guys just exactly what we have in store for you. So next slide, please. Maybe before anything else, just a quick background of who we are. I know the introduction already showed or gave a quick introduction, but maybe just to expound on that, again, I'm Erika Dizon, the Managing Director of Elementary Design Group. Elementary Design Group is actually a 5-year-old company already, so we're a year older compared to 4, as previously mentioned. Again, we are comprised of artists, designers, 3D renderers, engineers, architects, foremen, project managers, and masons. So we have the full suite that you guys need, especially for design and construction. But later on, we will be discussing more things, I think, which will be interesting for you because we have expanded this not just with design and construction, but with ancillary services. So we have actually served hundreds of customers with a concentration specifically in Metro Manila for now. But maybe in the future, we do hope to expand in other parts of the Philippines. But for now, we are focusing particularly in Makati, Fort, QC, Pasig, Mandaluyong, and Alabang. We've also been featured in numerous design publications and media outlets and worked with a number of Remax associates over the years. So I think that speaks volumes, right? Because we already have a good working relationship together and we built that trust and communication between our companies. So have faith and have comfort that we're here, not coming out of the blue, not coming out of anywhere, but from past working relationships with Remax. Okay, so let's go on to the next slide. Maybe just a quick story as well as to why we did this, right? Because the why is usually what most companies and what founders usually start with. Okay, so we started this business when we noticed the need for a design and construction firm that actually offered an end-to-end solutioning for our customers, especially those, number one, with limited time to think about those small things. So I don't know if you guys have done your own house, you've renovated, or you've helped someone, a friend, maybe you're a client or a family member, fix things up for them. There are so many things that you need to think about. So all of these small things actually add up to become one big headache. So yes, on one side or in one part, it's definitely a fun experience. But at the same time, there are a few portions where it's not so fun, right? And I think that's where we and our company come in. So anyway, maybe just to put things in greater perspective, right, for everyone, I'll give a few examples usually and what these small things entail, right? So that includes permitting, bond applications, and even collecting back the bond, right, after you've paid and after you've constructed, gathering of requirements before construction, even to the extent we go beyond what is required for us. We do help our customers with the smallest things, right? So that means even reupholstering their old furniture or recoloring some existing items that they feel that they don't want to let go of because number one, it has sentimental value, or because, you know, we're trying to become economical here. And so we're trying to look at all the ways and means where we could save. So that's part of our services. To a certain extent, even we have also gone beyond. We have customers and clients and actually partners, right, who are not here. They could be foreign investors, that's one, or even our kababayans offshore, right, who work elsewhere but actually have investments here in the Philippines, but they don't have anyone to help them set up their investment in real estate. So in terms of that, we help with purchasing appliances who are too busy to handle all of these minor details. So being in the real estate industry, I'm sure everyone here has also had client discussions with these unique requests. So instead of doing it piecemeal, talking with multiple people and having different ongoing discussions with all of these various pockets within the value chain, we have consolidated this into a service within our group as a unique selling proposition. So it's nice. Definitely, the business has evolved from 5 years ago. It started simply as a design and construction firm. It has evolved into ancillary services now, and to this day, we continue our mandate, right, as a one-stop shop for those looking to design and construct their offices, their homes, and even their business spaces. So there, just a quick feedback of where we came from, our humble beginnings. We're still humble. We're still a boutique firm, definitely, but to the extent of how our services have evolved over time and to respond, right, to the needs of our customers, our clients, and our partners. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so allow us to demonstrate very quickly that there actually exists different kinds of ancillary services that are also available in real estate. So I know all of you guys have always thought, okay, maybe it's like design or maybe it's construction. Yes, that is true. Those still remain the biggest two pillars, right, of ancillary services within real estate, but there are others. Okay, so aside from the most obvious ones, we also have space styling or planning and staging. So later on, we'll be discussing more of these in detail and show you the difference between all of them. And also, by understanding more, right, about these concepts, about what these things do, we can show you how it can bring value to your own customers and to your own stakeholders. But basically, I guess just to make it short, we have ensured that we're able to set ourselves apart, right, by connecting all of these ancillary services into one value chain. And actually, I'm happy to note that within that value chain, everyone here watching has a big stake or a big part of it to play. So, I'm sure at one point or another, going through a real estate or a deal, brokering or selling to a tenant or to a prospective buyer, you guys have experienced the disconnect between all of these conversations. It could be between the interior designer, a contractor, the village or building admin, suppliers, all of those things. So it definitely could be a painful experience. And so our aim is to handle all of these for you as our partner brokers, even for our end customers, right? And so these are the ancillary services. So anyway, to start off, space planning may not be an obvious need for everyone, right? But it is a service that requires actually a lot of thought and, as it says, planning. So what it means is that it's the intentional and strategic planning of a particular space. So it usually considers building and village codes that a lot of people don't really think of. If you're like a person who's too busy, right, doing your day job or thinking of other things, there are these things that you have to remember, definitely. Lighting and storage requirements, right? How do you make the most out of the space to put in more storage? I think people are buying more and more things online, and so you need space and storage, right, to keep it in, as well as lighting. So maybe not a lot of people understand the lighting theory and why it's important to all of us. It could make things brighter and more pleasing aesthetically, as well as it also has functional uses, right? So space planning puts together all of those things. So let's do the next slide, please. Okay, so aside from space planning, later on, we will also be discussing space staging or space styling. So yeah, all of these words coming up, all of these concepts, maybe you can mix them up together, but I hope after this presentation, you'll have a better understanding of the differences between these types of services and how it could be applicable in our business dealings. Okay, next slide, please. So in particular with space planning, people ask for this service, particularly when they are either about to build a house or renovate a condo or rent, even if it's an old place and somebody wants to spruce it up a little bit. They also have to think about space planning, right? Or even when they plan to get a new office space and they need to start operations, and yet this is the budget, this is the space that has been allotted, but you need to fit in more people. How do you go about that? How do you do that? What is the maximum way to do that? So that's what space planning usually does. Okay, so common questions are, when you have a buyer and a tenant that aren't too sure with the space, usually they bring us in and we do the consultations, and then we do the tweaks to make the space more appropriate and well suited to their specific needs. Okay, so again, going back to the questions, can we reconfigure the area or the items? Is there a way to fit everything that I require? Or will there be will the changes be economical in the long run if I do the fixes, considering I'm only renting? And how will the flow of people work? So maybe a lot of people don't realize, but all of these things have to go hand in hand when you are entering a new space, right? Otherwise, it's harder to move in and then reconfigure everything. Based on experience, actually, it's better that you think about it now before you guys move in. I know this can be difficult, and that's not always the case, right? The best case scenario. But there are also ways to figure out how we can do space planning, even if you are already residing in that area. Because of COVID, I will have to address that. A lot of people have decided to relocate first very quickly to do things for the meantime, or people have decided to do it in phases. Space planning, I mean. That could be a little bit more difficult and tricky because let's face it, right? There will be workers, there's going to be dust and things like that. But it is possible as long as we will all work together in terms of planning and scheduling. Okay, so that's just an example of space planning. Let's move on to the next slide. We've noticed that most of the time, to accommodate our requests, other players would usually recommend major works to be done. Okay, but actually for Elementary Design Group, our motto is that you only do it, and we should do it with the least amount of pain possible, because if we do it that way, it will make the most economical sense. So, okay, why do we do that? Definitely, right? If there's more work to be done, we could charge higher for it, but that's not how we view things. That's not how we do business. For us, we always keep in mind, right? What is the path to least resistance, the least painful for our customers to be doing things. So in terms of that, we always ask whenever we have customers and clients, what will make the biggest impact and what is most important to you? Okay, so to help our customers sort of figure out what that is, we also send out computations or projections. For example, if a buyer is looking to upgrade a space, what will their ROI be with all the proposed upgrades? How long will that take, and how much will that cost? Other people work on the reverse, and we do a reverse engineering sort of thing, wherein we look at their budget and we add and subtract what we think is the most economical and the best way to support our clients' goals. What else can we do to lower costs? And if we lower costs, what will that look like? What are the pros and cons? So, okay, that's just an example of space planning, our motto for our customers, and what space planning actually entails. Okay, next slide, please. So another way that we could give a concrete example, right, of how these work. For example, a buyer is looking to buy an old building for the amount of space at a lower price premium. So we all know, right, older buildings are much cheaper, plus they give you, I guess, more value for your money because they offer bigger spaces compared to the new ones. However, okay, for example, he needs to have a male and female bathroom. The usual question is, where should this be placed? What will be the pros and cons of this, right? So space planning takes into consideration, number one, computing the number of people by the average time of use. How many people will go through and use the bathrooms? How long do you expect them to use this? And so that's also a function of how we should plan out the spaces that we'll be doing, right? Does having two bathrooms in the same area make sense? Or can we split the bathroom per floor or find a workaround to split the bathroom in two different bathrooms by using the same plumbing lines? So those are things that we sort of like figure out and work with our customers just to guide them along and help, right? Coming up with the most optimum space that maximizes what they have currently. Okay, so I'll move on to space styling and space staging. So let's do the next slide, please. Okay, so moving on to space styling. Okay, actually, what it really means is that this is the curated finishing or furnishing or even prepping up of an uninhabited space. So think of it this way. If we dress up people, why not dress up rooms to make the property and let it move in the market faster, right? It works in the same concept. So it helps prospective buyers and tenants see the space in the best light possible and envision the future look or what the space can actually look like with a little love and a little care from the professionals, right? So let's go to the next slide. So here you go. I just wanted to give you guys like a more concrete way of visualizing how styling can work for your space or for your customer spaces or for the listings that you guys have or for the inventory that you have if you're a small developer, right? So space styling definitely it requires minimal work, to be honest, which is why we ensure that its works are kept to a minimum. When we say minimum, it's usually changing the paint, adding more lighting, adding a little or a few accessories here and there. So because it's kept to a bare minimum, we could actually finish space styling within 2 weeks. So that's actually not bad considering that most condominiums nowadays or spaces nowadays have the number of workers that are limited to 3 or 4 depending on the size of the area. Plus, we also have to account for weekends and holidays where most of these guys don't allow us to work. So 2 weeks, I think, is quite fair. So given that space styling is actually non-invasive, I would say in nature, we notice that a lot of people have been acquiring this particular service. Okay, so it's funny, right? Because of the pandemic, it's not just people who intend to rent out or sell their property that avail of this service. Even for those who are using it as gaining the space that we are in is gaining more importance, and people are putting more and more emphasis on personal space, right? Definitely this concept has been magnified tenfold as we spend most of our time at home. So again, space styling entails certain tweaks in the space, such as but not limited to color, lighting, removing furniture, or even adding furniture and accessories. So if you see our example here, it used to be quite plain, rather dull, right? But because we added a few other elements, such as maybe a painting, changing the carpet, putting in throw pillows here and there, it definitely transforms the same space and shows it in a better light. So just a quick fun fact, right? Sometimes because this is minimally invasive, works are also not as much as a complete or full-blown renovation. Space styling, ROIs, of course it differs, right? Based on the amount of work and the items that have been placed inside. But on average, the ROI in terms of space styling is on average 50 pesos for every 1,000 pesos that you put in. So if you compute it that way, it's not bad. I think it's a good fun fact if you want to share that to your prospective clients, right? As a better way to think, what is the easiest way for you to move the property in the market? So space styling is one of them. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. So we have discussed we've discussed space planning, right? Which maximizes spaces and makes it more efficient, and it takes into consideration the various requirements of each individual or company. We've discussed space styling, So again, it's dressing up a space, right? People dress up, you want to project certain thing. We also do that to individual spaces. And last but not least, we also have an ancillary service by way of space staging. So it's not yet fully known here in the Philippines, but actually it's a very, very marketable service in the United States. I'm not sure if you guys have seen the real estate brokerage shows on Netflix, but they incorporate space staging into their daily activities. So what does this actually do? So as we post most of our listings, and a lot of us actually now go online as we search for properties, having a well-dressed online presence really racks up those clicks, right? So an interesting fun fact again, guys, we have learned is that for others who do staging, 90% of us, if you could be a prospective buyer, seller, or whatever it is, start looking for properties, and they do this online. That is usually the first step. Once they go through the first step, they see the listings, they see the pictures, that's when they'll see, right, the broker and the broker's contact details. So how do you want to set your listings apart, right? There's so many listings out there. How do you make your particular listing pop out? How do you help your customers sell their property or rent out their property faster? So that's where staging comes in. So basically, if you think about it, it's a set, right? And then we stage the set, which is the property, and put things into it that make it look like a home, or a place that you want to stay in, or an office that you want to work in. Or it could, well, maybe not to that extent, right? We can't necessarily fit out a space that's empty and transform it into a restaurant, because that's definitely a one-off customized request. But for the basic things, right, this is what it looks like, an empty space. So it becomes difficult for people to imagine the possibilities, right, and the potential of a particular space. But once we stage that, if you see it on the right, a lot of people can sort of feel more at ease, and the space becomes more pleasant automatically. And so because of that change and that transformation and the difference, definitely, right, it adds value to the property, and you add value to your customer because you do this service for them. Okay, so maybe a lot of people don't know there are actually two types of staging. Sorry about that. So we have virtual staging. When we say virtual staging, we do a 3D rendering of the space, and it's done electronically, obviously, and then you use that 3D rendering and post it online. So what it does is that it gives the person who is looking through the website like an immediate, it pops up immediately on the page, and it gives them an idea, okay, this is what it looks like. So yes, it's virtual because it's only done on a 3D rendering type of perspective. We also have physical staging. So a lot of buyers, tenants out there definitely still want to check out the space before they put in that LOI, right? And so the physical one, as it says, we bring in the actual items into the space and then pull them out after a certain amount of days. So it gives a customer that feeling that, okay, when I come in here, this is what it could look like. So there's, again, virtual and physical staging. A lot of us nowadays, because of COVID, we've definitely tweaked the business model, and we've had a lot of virtual requests. They do this so that they could increase the number of clicks, definitely. And number two, it uses again as it's used as a reference that in the event that they want to fix up the place, this is what it will look like. So the use for that is actually twofold. Okay. So that's space planning, space styling, and then space staging. So maybe just to clarify, it actually works in homes, particularly in condominiums, right? Because if you do that for homes, it would actually start becoming very expensive if you decide to do the physical one. So actually, we would recommend a virtual one rather than a physical one if the spaces become larger and larger. Also, I guess it's quite obvious, right, that because the physical entails the bringing in and out of actual items, definitely it takes up more time, effort, and money, which is why we see that there is more demand very recently for the virtual ones. Okay, so I hope those Three ancillary services are quite clear. Maybe we just have to like think about it in a bigger perspective and open our minds, right? And see that, okay, there are all of these tools, all of these services that we could also offer to our customers to help them. And at the same time, also increase our efficiency, right? If you're a real estate broker, a developer, or even a person who is just looking to have passive income, actually this is a way, and later we'll discuss how we can do that. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so I guess we go back to interior design. A lot of people really just wonder why interior design is important. Maybe a lot of them think that, okay, it's just buying a couple of things and putting it in a space, and that's basically it. Okay, a lot of them will also think, I think over the years we've had these discussions that they think that interior design is actually purely aesthetic. That's definitely not the case. So with interior design, as with all things now, the main goal of that is definitely to improve user experience. Wow, okay, big words, buzzwords, right? But actually, it's really true. Okay, so when we say interior design, it entails, number one, creating or maximizing a space, which also provides its own economical value, right? So if you have a 72 square meter, for example, clinic, and obviously it's a place of business, right? You want to make sure that every nook and cranny has a specific use or purpose because you're actually renting space there. So if you don't maximize or if you don't utilize that space, that's actually rent that you're giving up because you didn't use that space efficiently or effectively. So that's number one. Number two, it's improving the functional use, or who are the intended users. So it's really also thinking about, okay, who is going to use this space? What do we plan to do here? What are the activities that we think will happen here? So as an example, if we pull up an office project, for example, I don't know, more so than ever, more and more people are doing away with closed cubicles and instead using open spaced office spaces. Sure, it looks great aesthetically, but number one, does it really increase productivity? Number two, it could decrease productivity, but actually it increases camaraderie. So what is more important to you as a company? What is your company culture? Maybe you want a little bit of both. So if you want a little bit of both, definitely we'll do open workspaces, but we'll use a certain amount of the space to proportion for or appropriate for meetings or focus rooms, right? So that's a thing nowadays. And those are the things that we could help you out with. Number three, what material should be used? Certain questions that come up and pop up in my mind are, will it be used outdoor? Do you require antibacterial paint? Does your office have nursing mothers? So those are the things that a lot of people may forget, but these are the things that actually affect, right? How people use the space. So that's another benefit of what interior design does, right? So it's maximizing it. It's making sure that the space is functional. And number three, it takes into consideration the materials that fit the intended use case. And of course, I guess it still goes without saying that interior design also improves the feel. So a lot of us, myself included, was prone to just adding whatever I felt like and putting it all together. But the problem with that is that the whole space doesn't end up looking unified, right? Because people tend to like a little bit of that, a little bit of this, and then when it comes together and you put it together, it just doesn't match. So I usually call this term chop suey. So I don't know if you guys know, yes, it's a vegetable dish that you put multiple types of vegetables together, which may not necessarily go together. It depends on your preference, but that's what I call it. It's the chop suey look. So I'm sure everyone understands it, though, per se. It's a mishmash of things. And it eventually makes the space look cluttered, cheap, and not well thought of. So those are the things definitely that we're trying to avoid. Definitely, if we think of the space as an intended use for tenants, intended for resale, or even if it's intended for us, right? Because space or personal space has become more important than ever. So these are the four things actually why it makes interior design important. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. So I don't know if you guys have been feeling the heat from COVID or the contraction in terms of business deals and the economy. But what's funny to take note is that because of the pandemic, a lot of industries have been hit. That's true. Okay, that's not funny. Sure, the rental market is definitely softer. And buyers are moving towards open spaces, houses, and townhouses. But funnily enough, and to our surprise, right, the interior design and construction industry, particularly for end use, have remained strong as more people stay at home. So there, I guess this particular portion in the industry has remained resilient to the pandemic. And I guess it makes sense, right? We're probably home 90% of the time and we only go out for essentials. So meanwhile, on the other hand, just to give also like a quick background on how other types of properties have tried to, I guess, weave through the pandemic. So yes, in houses, more people have looked for interior design and construction. For offices, a lot of them have decided to downsize. And when we say downsize, they have previously occupied a space. Let's say it's 500 square meters. But because of the pandemic, they realized that, oh, wait, people can actually work at home. But we still need a physical space for our clients. So the offices nowadays now need help in downsizing their office spaces. And that's not always an easy task. How does that look like, right? How will people do a rotating type of schedule, like 50% at home, 50% in the office? So that's the unique request of offices. Meanwhile, for retail spaces, based on the recent trend, retail spaces have decided to co-share and become a mixed-use space. So what do we say by that? I'm not sure if you've seen this particular experience in the mall, wherein one retail space is actually inhabited by various stores. So what this does is it combines various stores, they share the retail space, and therefore the rent also becomes cheaper for all of them. But it becomes mixed use, meaning to say that that space isn't yours alone, and therefore the aesthetic has to accommodate everyone. So there, I guess just to show you what's happening in the pandemic and how people are trying to, I guess, change their requirements based on the different types of demands, right? Especially how we try to become more economical in terms of the spaces that we rent, right? So that's one example. Also, just maybe another fun fact for everyone. Based on a recent study by Household Codes, actually Philippines is one of the countries that spends the most on home decor. Wow. So I didn't think anyone would have expected that, but that is the case. Actually, on average, 7,400 pesos or 7,500 pesos is spent annually on average for every Filipino home on home decor alone. So out of 150 countries globally, the Philippines is actually still well within the 50s range. So while Switzerland tops that list and Hong Kong tops the list in Asia, Philippines is actually still in the top 50. So at least it gives you a sense on or an idea that Filipinos actually value, right, their surroundings or where they stay or spend most of their time in. So that's just like maybe something to keep in mind, that even if we think people are tightening their pockets or their belt in certain areas, certainly staying in an aesthetically pleasing space is still important to them. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. I've actually read a lot of studies and market researches from different organizations, right? Because it directly impacts our business. And maybe for everyone here, just for your benefit, just to share as well where we are coming from. So in Colliers, they're saying that there is a subdued residential demand. I would assume that this is coming on the condominium sector. And we expect this to result in further price and rental correction. So yes, we've seen a softening in rental prices, and that's across the board, I think, for most condominiums. For Global Property Guide, they also say that the Philippines has been ranked as the worst performing housing market. So I guess this means for the Global House Price Survey, in terms of the housing market, they're saying that pricing is definitely going down. But again, right, I want to quantify that this is likely for the condominiums because we see a rise in the demand for open spaces, open lots, individual detached houses, and townhouses. And finally, even the BSP says that as of the first quarter of 2021, the Philippine Residential Real Estate Price Index fell by 4.2%. So how do we, I guess the point of this slide that we want to send across, or the message really, is that we need to innovate and adapt our products and services in order to remain relevant for our customers, right? And continue to do business and still strive despite these challenging times. So we need to look for new ways how we can do that and how we can help our customers. So that's also why we are here to show you what else is out there, right? What are the ways and means we can differentiate ourselves from other brokers, ourselves from other interior design and construction firms, ourselves from not even if you're not part of the industry, you could be, and later we'll also show you how. Okay, next slide, please. So I think we've also discussed the need of interior design and what it does, but maybe to put in the economics of it, right? And why it's important. Why do we want to do that at all, in a nutshell? Why do we want our customers to get an interior designer rather than just doing it by themselves? So even if, yes, you shell out money or capital for it, we're still here to create value. So how do we create value, right? And maybe I'll let you in on a few trade secrets. So number one, professionals pay trade pricing. Okay, so what do we mean by professionals pay trade pricing? So whenever you plan to furnish your home or your office or I don't know, your business or a retail space, actually a lot of suppliers will give discounts as long as you have an interior decorator on hand. So even if you are spending on an interior decorator, because of the discounts that they get, and assuming they pass this discount on to you guys, then that means, right, that you are still able to save on that type because of that particular trade price. So because you're going to buy the item anyway, but you have that interior decorator, you're able to save on a discount. So that's basically what it means. Okay, second, interior decorators help you, or interior designers help you hack a budget. Okay, we usually ask customers, what is the budget that you have on hand, and what do you feel comfortable spending? Definitely, we don't want to overspend, right? Because times are hard, and we don't want to overspend on things that you also don't feel has value. So we work with your budget. And in terms of working budget, I think I've mentioned this earlier on. Our greatest motto definitely is that you go for things that will have the biggest impact, right? So we don't recommend that you spend a ton of money on the small things if we're working with a budget. But of course, if you have a huge budget, then by all means, the more the merrier, right? Okay. Third, we prevent expensive mistakes. Okay, so here's a thing that not a lot of people actually realize. Interior designers help you plan for things appropriately because it's actually efficient to do things right the first time, and it's more expensive if you make a mistake and then you have to redo everything again. And that's a type of savings that we are also talking about in the fourth one, which is time is money. The longer that you construct, the longer that you get into your project, actually it costs you more. So if you get a professional to do your project management, to plan things appropriately, then this impacts you in a good way because then you also get the value there. Okay, next, they are trained to see potential. So while some people don't see what a particular space can look like because there are these ancillary services to help you um, realize what a particular property can look like. And so that will open more channels and more avenues for you, your own space, your customers, and even your clients, right? And lastly, we maximize investment. Uh, so a lot of us have also asked, how can you maximize your ROI if you're fixing up a place for the intended use of renting it out? So when you say that this is the particular need that you have or that you want, definitely we'll go for not necessarily lower priced, right? But it's lower priced, but still good value furniture. Versus if you tell us that you're using it for your own use, then definitely maybe there's like more wiggle room to spend on pricier items that will last you for a longer period of time. So we always have to remember, right, what is the intended use, and we match your intended use with the things that we put inside the projects. So that's why we always want to maximize, right, and think of what the end use, or think of the end use at the end of the day. Okay, that's a lot of ends. Okay, so what we like to reiterate is that by having a visually pleasing home, the value of your home increases along with the number of potential buyers and tenants, and of course, the intrinsic value to the end user. So when your space is great, you tend to feel lighter and less cluttered as well. Also, I think this is like a mantra we should all think about, that the more eyes are on your home, the quicker it will sell and get leased out. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Okay, so this is just an example of what a before and after picture looks like. So it takes a lot to transform a bare space into one that's like inhabitable and one that's beautiful. And it takes a lot to execute a project, right? There are many moving parts, definitely. There's a lot of schedules to be followed. There's a lot of people to be discussed. Or topics to be discussed, and there's a lot of people to negotiate and work with, right? So if people don't have the time or the training to do this, it becomes very, very difficult and very, very painful. So all of the things that go into creating this is that there's planning involved, there's actually researching involved, coordination, and you need people to manage these projects to obtain an adequately healthy and aesthetically pleasing environment for the people who will use the space. So we'd also want to point out that since we do offer end-to-end services, the cost of design actually goes down if we also do the construction part. So we are cognizant of the fact that there are economies of scale if we do both. And also, just to point out, that is a space where Elementary Design Group chooses to make a market for ourselves and operate in. So yes, it's a unique niche in the industry, but there is that space where everyone, all of us, can actually work together in. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so aside from putting in the most impact as a, I guess, recommendation to our customers, we tell them that they should usually spend their time and money on things that will move the unit or the property or the space and add value to it in a big way. So we have learned over time that the most items which users put emphasis on are bathrooms, that's number one, and kitchens. Okay, perhaps because these areas are where we perform most of our business in, but actually a lot of people really put value in these two areas. So it makes sense that if you are reusing a space or moving into an old new space, then it makes sense for you to remodel these two areas. But of course, right, aside from maximizing or fixing up these places, you always have to think as well that we're also here, right, to put together the three basic triad or three basic requirements of real estate, and to a certain extent, design and construction. And of course, this is presentation, number one, price, number two, and marketing, right? So we're here to support you in making sure that all of these three things come together so that it makes you more efficient, and it makes things or the properties or the listings more desirable. So when all of these aspects come together, you can be guaranteed that a good lease that you'll get a good lease or sale price in a reasonable time frame. So I'm sure all of us have thought, right, what are the things that we could do to move things further along to help our customers, and so we leave that there. That's presentation, price, and marketing. Okay, next slide, please. So we're just adding just a couple of fun facts to pique your interest, right? And to maybe just drive that point across. And so if there is a space that remains to be unstyled or unstaged, we're talking in terms of lease, right? It stays on the market for an average of 143 days. But in the event that it gets styled or staged, that number of days actually gets lowered down to 40 days. And so you see the time difference, right, of making the property move faster. So that's a concrete example. And also out of 4,200 staged or styled homes, now we're talking about selling, right? 85% got sold for 6 to 25% more. So we're talking about the selling price and the premium that it adds on the price because it looks better, because you're able to show your customer the potential or the possibility of what the space can look like. So there. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Maybe a lot of you are thinking, what is the process? How do we get into this? How does the whole thing actually work? It sounds very difficult. It's difficult, but we're here to help you. Okay. So in this slide, you guys will definitely see the usual process, right? Others may have preferred to meet virtually during the pandemic, but we understand how important it is to still make human connections, especially in this process, right? It's design, it's personal, and it also requires getting to know the customer intimately to get a sense of who they are and what they like, because definitely that is things that we need to consider, and these are important when figuring out if we're designing for them, if we're planning the space for them, if we're staging it for them, if we're styling it for them. All of these things we take into consideration, and really what you like or you don't like, or what the customer likes and what they dislike comes into play when we meet them in person. So we do actual meetings and site visits. So another learning for us is that while we do have floor plans from the admin, sometimes the actual space and even the measurements coming from the floor plan is very different in person. And that's why we strive to meet and do actual measurements as much as possible as the first step. So you see, that's the first step in our design process, which is meeting up and doing a site visit. So moving on, proposals are actually done within a week, which includes number one, the pitch, the color story, the material board, the proposed layout, and the design per area. So this is actually very, very fast already. And we push ourselves to do that. The rationale being, customers don't want to wait, right, too long, because if they wait too long for a specific service, their interest will start to wane, and we don't want that. So the proposal is also done live. So when we say live, we actually meet with a person and we explain everything in more detail. What is the logic behind the color story? Okay, so for a clinic, we're going for greens and blues because we want to invoke the feeling of being calming and yet reliable. So those are the things that we explain as we do all of these visitations and meetings with our customers, right? Aside from that, we also are able to answer any other additional questions that they have for us. So at least really there's a touch of personalization and being there for our customer, which we cannot say how important it is. Take note though that when we send a proposal to our customers, we also include items that have already been sourced. So unlike others who include certain items but aren't actually available here in the Philippines, it just adds complexity and it becomes time wasted for both parties. So when we add items in our proposals, even if we've only had 7 days, the items there have already been sourced from local suppliers or they could be bespoke. So moving on, thirdly, we do the contract signing along with the actual material selection to allow the client to have a sense or of touch and feel for the materials to be used. We understand that times are quite difficult, so we also offer various flexible terms. Maybe just to accommodate, right? Maybe you're expecting cash flows here and there, so we could discuss that naman. And fourth, so we are able to do construction within 90 working days. And although various associations or buildings or houses or condominiums have different rules and number of workers and the duration of work, our standard is 90 days, excluding, of course, holidays and weekends. And of course, if the space is much bigger or much smaller than the standard. So, and lastly, because our name is important, we strive to provide warranty services after 6 months upon the turnover for items that point towards issues on craftsmanship or whatever. So this is just to make sure that, okay, we're not leaving you just because you've already been paid. We are still here in case you need to contact us for any other questions or anything that pertains to the work that we've done. So maybe if we have live deals, we could also discuss the process in more detail. This is just a quick bird's eye view of how that whole process usually works out. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. And I guess this is where the interesting part is for everyone, right? After all, we're running businesses. So we do offer referral fees for any of the services that we have mentioned, which can run anywhere from 1.5 to 5%, depending on the tiering schedule and the contract price. So that's great, right? All you need to do, guys, is to refer Elementary Design Group, and you already get a commission or a referral fee from 1.5 to 5%. Okay, so this is actually paid out once a client has paid in full. Let's note, though, however, that this excludes the price of furniture and appliances because I guess it's understandable that at the end of the day, these items don't actually come from us. It actually comes from other source. We just put it in the place, right? So depending if you need a receipt, the referral fee is actually paid out directly to your bank account in full. So I'm sure you guys already know how that works out. I won't expound on it any further. But please know that if you don't if you don't need any additional documentation, we can transfer the 1.5 to 5% commission in full. Okay, so the great thing about this is that you can offer all of these ancillary services. It could be space planning, staging, space styling, interior design, or construction to your customers by simply outsourcing it to us. So you gain, number one, an added financial incentive out of the referral fee. And number two, I think it's great because you gain greater trust from your customers by being able to give value-added service or assistance or offerings, right? Maybe these things aren't necessarily items that you think about because everyone's so focused about leasing out or selling properties. But there are these types of services that are available to you, and thereby, because of that, it becomes available to your own customers while making money out of it. So we are working along the lines of, rich dad, poor dad, right? That to be truly financially free, you need to have multiple or at least 3 income streams. But of course, with the demands of our primary jobs, the rest of these income streams need to be passive. And so this business model actually works well, wherein you simply have to refer. And for every successful referral, it automatically becomes a source of passive income for you guys. So there's not much to it. It's really just understanding how it works and how it could be applicable or applied in your business dealings and for your customers. Okay, let's go to the next slide. And just to give you guys more details on the fee structure, this is actually how it works. So we give you an idea on the range and minimum amount that you will be getting from the commission structure. Definitely, so with the smaller contract price, for it to be worthwhile for everyone, definitely for you, the rate is much higher at 5%. We have also indicated the minimum amount you'll be getting so that your referral doesn't feel like it's peanuts. It's too small. It's not even worth my time. So we made sure that it's worth your time and your efforts. So the contract will be between ourselves and the client you referred. Meanwhile, we get into a readily available partnership agreement if you want to do something like this, right? And get into this referral fee model between yourselves and Elementary Design Group, so that in effect we can become partners in this movement. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. We'll also discuss, right, how that also works out, because what we're trying to do here is that we want to make the deal sweeter for everyone, and we are leveraging on a community-enabled business model, right? I think as we move into the next couple of years, or even the past years, we've seen how community has really helped people generate income and make more money. So this business model is also replicated and patterned after that. So you can also not naman urge, but like ask your friends, family, and other colleagues to get in with the program, and they could become a sub-referrer under you, right? So main referrers, if you check out our chart here, will get 1% of the contract price, while one-ups will also get a referral fee for every closed deal by their sub-referrer. So take note that the referral commission from the one-up will be taken from Elementary Design Group, so the sub-referrer fees remain whole. Okay, so that we don't get anything out of you guys. It's really just making sure that everyone within the ecosystem, within the community, gets something out for their efforts. And take note as well, right, that to ensure the quality of leads and referrals, we only maintain up to 1 down of sub-referrers. However, if you think about it laterally, there could be as many as you like, depending on the community and your contact list. So have a think, who are these people you think that could be good sources of referrals or sub-referrals, then this model can work for you. If you have a lot of friends and family who know or who are sort of like in the fringes of this ecosystem, then it will definitely make sense to include them into this model. So a lot of people ask how do they show proof that their community or their one downs is actually coming from them, right? And so we have documentation for this to show that you as a main referrer so that you can also get the commission out of it. And so if you see which we can readily send out after this, we could fill up the partnership form, and then you can indicate your proposed sub-referrers. Just so we could get the ecosystem and the community going. Okay, I'll be happy to answer any additional questions later after this, but maybe let me just finish in my last 4 slides. So let's go to the last slide. Sorry, yeah. Okay, so other than space planning, styling, staging, interior design, and construction, we also have value-added services. So this come in the form of our subsidiary. So aside from usual design and construction, of course, we have services for the aftermath of it all, right? Although we do our own cleaning, we feel that definitely it puts your customer more at ease if they're able to if they're able to take it a step further and we actually disinfect this space. I can tell a lot of people have thought about this, right? We can't be too safe nowadays. And so to go full suite and cover it all, the services, we also have professional disinfection services using disinfectants used by the Korean government. So as with design and construction, our subsidiary Saniblast has the same commission fees and the same corporate structure or commission structure applies. Okay, so that's for the aftermath of, I don't know, design, construction, space styling, or whatever. We could also do the cleaning services. And if we go to the last slide, sorry, the next slide, please. Okay, so a lot of people have also asked us, are you guys into smart homes? What does this look like now? A lot of us have become tech savvy, especially as you spend more time at home, right? And so as the company goes into, I guess, sort of like tech or environmentally friendly types of services, we have included this service, which is smart homes in a way, particularly by way of solar panels, right? So, given that electricity is actually one of the biggest expenses with the pandemic, as we say more at home, our subsidiary Solar Republic actually offers solar panel services. So, when computed, you can have an ROI on the initial capital expense within 5 years, and we also give a 10-year manufacturing warranty. So, as with Sunny Blast, as with the other ancillary services that we offer under Elementary Design Group, um, we also give referral fees for the smart home component or the solar panel component. So again, we included this in our list of services so that we can go full circle for our customers, right? And everything that they need, you want to be there, and they want to be top of mind because they know that okay, let's say for example, Juan Patag can offer all of these things, and he's not just about it's not just about selling, it's not just about being able to rent out something, right? It's also about helping our customers with all of their needs. And this is a way or an avenue for everyone to do that. Okay, so if we go to the last slide, maybe just to give you a bird's eye view. Next slide, please. Yes. Okay. Sorry, before that. Yeah, so to see real estate with bigger lenses, right? It's there are a lot of things going on out there, and I hope our presentation is able to show you what are the other things that you could give value and as well as earn passive income from. So this is the full suite of services. So we can also go full circle for our customers. Okay, and let's go to the last slide. I hope that this was a useful presentation for everyone. We look forward to partnering and succeeding together. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me so we can discuss how we can work and collaborate on your deals and adding value to customers. So in order to set ourselves apart in this highly competitive space, let's do it via ancillary services as well. So I like what you guys mentioned earlier, that the more you learn, the more you earn. And of course, Elementary Design, along with our subsidiary, Sunny Blast and Solar Republic, are here to support this. So thank you, everyone. Please let me know if you have additional questions, and I will be more than glad to answer for you.
All right. Thank you so much, Erika. Fantastic presentation. Honestly, I took down a lot of notes as well. Well, if you don't mind, just a few questions that I had as you're going through the slides. And it's honestly something that a lot of my clients ask me when I'm showing them properties or when they just purchase a property, and they want to have it designed, they want to have it leased out, they want to have it, fully furnished and so on. Well, specifically for residential properties, can you give us at least like a ballpark figure of what the client will be looking to spend, say, per square meter, for residential properties or condominium, if they were to interior design and space plan their properties?
Okay, so there's various like pricing for each service. Maybe let's go for the more common one, which is interior design. So on a per square meter basis, we usually charge 1,500, just as a ballpark figure. Also, as we mentioned, right, if we do the end-to-end service, which means the design and the construction, there are economies of scale. So this 1.5 actually we lower that price somewhere to 1,000 pesos because we do the full suite for you.
Right.
So that's just a rough ballpark figure. Definitely, it will depend also on the type of work that you need to be done and the materials that you want to put in.
Okay, understood. So talking about design alone, I mean, just planning the space, basically, it will range between 1,000 to 1,500 pesos per square meter, depending if they also get your company to do the purchasing, the fit out, like you said, construction of all the furniture and so on and so forth.
Yes, that's correct. Yep.
All right, fantastic. And also, again, thank you very much, Erika, for touching base on the breakdown of how the commission and the referral system works out. That was actually one of the questions I was going to ask also
after your presentation. So I'm glad you explained that as well.
Yeah, definitely. So we'd be happy to answer more questions. We could send you guys the specific breakdown and the structure of how the referral and the community referral works, right? We understand like everyone started to get connected nowadays. It could be Facebook or other other apps. So and so we see the value, right, of the connections that we make, and so we want to bank and leverage on that community, and once we're able to do that, at least everyone gets something out of the pie, and so we're all striving and succeeding during these times.
All right. And one last thing, Erika, if I may also request, I'm sure our viewers also would like to know, maybe you can share with us your contact information on the Facebook group, or at least post it on the comment section, your telephone number, your email address. So if anyone here watching would like to contact you for these services, questions, concerns, they may have clients they want to refer, again, it could also partner up with you as well.
Sure, definitely more than happy to do so. So I'll post everything in the Remax Capital Facebook page, and we look forward to doing business together and hearing from you. Thank you.
All right. Erika, on behalf of Remax Capital, thank you so much. And well, as always, stay safe as well.
Thank you.
All right. So yeah, thank you again, guys, for joining us for this event today. Again, I'm your host, Jose Sewani Gonzalez, Director for Training here at Remax Capital and Remax Capital Alabang. Before we sign off, just want to remind you guys that the next Monday Mindset is scheduled for December 20, same time, same place. Again, we'll send out the invites closer to the day, and hoping that everyone here will join us again for that next event. That will be the last Monday Mindset for the year 2021, but don't freak out, guys. Don't be scared. Don't be sad. We will be coming back to you as well in January. We promise that we will continue this every month for 2022 onwards. So again, I hope you guys can take time out of your days on these busy Mondays to join us for these events. Before I say goodbye, let me again say thank you to Miss Erika Dizon Go. Thank you also to Elementary Design Group for your support. We really, really appreciate it. All the guys who are here today watching us, thank you so much for joining us. That being said, again, guys, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you for the next event. Ciao.
The Philippine real estate industry has never been this exciting. With so many opportunities and even more potential for growth, there's a highly competitive market for real estate brokers and salespersons. But what if there was a way for you to take your real estate profession to the next level? Remax Capital is an independently owned and operated office under Remax Philippines and is the fastest growing real estate franchise in the country under the global Remax brand. Since 1973, Remax has been on the forefront of the industry, making it the most recommended and respected name in real estate.
No one in the world sells more real estate than Remax. We are the destination for the very best.
Our objective at Remax Capital is to provide market expertise, a vast network, and the highest level of professionalism that you can expect from real estate practitioners. How much on average do you think an independent real estate practitioner can earn while only relying on a personal network and simultaneously working on documentation himself? Now, imagine if you could be part of a community of professionals that can help you do all of that.
At Remax Capital, we not only help real estate professionals multiply their network, but we also focus on developing our agents through workshops and seminars. Because we believe in a mentorship culture. The more you learn, the more you earn. Some of our mentors are respected industry heavyweights with vast experience. We go a step further by providing back-end support so you can focus on closing that sale.
People always have the impression that being a real estate broker will make you earn a lot of money, and this includes my family and friends. But it actually takes a lot of hard work and dedication to be successful in this industry. By joining Remax, I was able to grow my sale every year because of the experiences that we share and the learnings that I get from my colleagues and also from the mentors that we have in this company. So apart from that, actually, I gained a lot of friends.
But at Remax Capital, it's not just all about business. We also know how to have fun, and we believe in establishing a sense of camaraderie and family. RE/MAX Capital puts you on the fast track to success to help you become the best real estate professional that you can be. It's definitely an exciting ride ahead for us, and we saved the seat just for you.
Take your profession to the next level.
We are RE/MAX Capital.
Buying a house is easy, right? One day has passed. 2 days have passed, and finally, don't let this happen to you. When it comes to one of the biggest decisions in your life, you need someone professional, reliable, and competent. Introducing RE/MAX Capital's newest member, Mr. G.
Hi, I'm Mr. G. I'm your go-to guy for your real estate needs. You can expect only good advice. I can help you find great deals. And I have the grit to negotiate for your best interests. I'm here for you so that your buying and selling journey will be efficient and smooth. What are you waiting for? Get in touch with me anytime. Just follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and our website, and let's make things happen.